Ready?
Yeah, good.
Okay. Hey everyone, thanks for coming to our demo. Where is it really loud? Okay. I'm Amanda from Smartbox.
And I'm Andrea.
See, Andrea. Yeah, thanks. Okay.
Just move this over here and get it away from that.
Cool.
Okay. Because it's heavy.
Got it. Okay. Is that better? No. Technical difficulties. All right. Maybe like that? All right. There we go. I think we're ready now. So, Amanda and Andrea from Smartbox, thank you. Thank you. We're here to give you some new content and product information today. Here's our fun financial disclosure information and the non-financial financial disclosure info. And the other, yep, all the things.
All right, today our 3 learning objectives. The first one is to describe 3 key features of the GridPad 10S. The second is to identify 2 different access methods that work with the GridPad 10S. And the third is to describe 2 features of the Ability Drive interface.
Here's where you can find, the session eval, the CEUs, all the fun stuff out of the way.
All right, first up, we're going to start with the GridPad 10S. So the GridPad 10S is the newest device that we have in our product range, and it is part of our GridPad range. So we do offer 3 devices of 3 different screen sizes. So as you can kind of guess, we do name our devices and our GridPads for the screen size. So for example, the GridPad 10 is a 10-inch screen, and the S stands for the second screen, the partner communication window on the back. And the GridPad 12 and the 15 are respectively 12 and 15-inch devices. So the 12 and the 15 are the ones that are larger that could house our eye gaze. And then our 10S, we will talk about the other access methods as well.
As you can see, as we talked about already, the 10-inch screen of the 10S, it does weigh about 3.2 pounds. And Andrea's got it here in the tough case, which is kind of on the end there on the screen with the accessible handle and everything on it. This also shows the speaker, I'm sorry, the out-facing speakers with around the second speaker screen. There you go. Some of the other key features of it are the Intel i5 processor. It, of course, runs our Grid 3 software, which is our Windows version of our software. Like Andrea said, you can access it with touch, switch, and USB access methods. And on the back, if she flips it around, it's got these beautiful built-in switch ports, lovely labeling as well.
There's 2 switch ports,
2 switch ports, 2 USB ports, and then the headphone port as well. And then, of course, it's also keyguard accessible, and we've got a picture up here of one of our users using it with WordPower 100.
All right. So in addition to the devices, all of the GridPad range do come with remote power buttons. So they're just a nice little rectangularly shaped remote that offer the same blue silicone power button on it so that users can turn their device off and on independently, because we do know that some devices can be really tricky, require a lot of fine motor and a lot of extra pressure. So it's just a nice little addition to it. And then for the 10S, there's actually 2 ports on top of the remote that you can use for switches as well. So let's say a user maybe has we'll say, a chin switch, and it is plugged into the remote. That remote can go in a bag or the back of the chair, and then they can turn their device off and on with that switch separately from using it for communication. In addition, though, it can also be a Bluetooth switch interface, so you could utilize it as additional switches as well, or put more switches in addition to the back. This device also has built-in infrared, so if environmental control is something that you wanted to consider, this is definitely a good option. I like to put in my Eufy vacuum. It's kind of like the different version of a Roomba, and I just know because it does have an infrared remote, and I'm able to program it very easily with our infrared learning, and then I can, utilizing a switch, physical selection, what have you, I can turn my vacuum cleaner on, thank you, my vacuum cleaner on from another room, so it's lovely. And then the other nice portion of the GridPad range is that you can actually Bluetooth an Android or an Apple phone into these devices. So anything running Grid 3 has that capability on our devices like our touchpad, our 10S, our 12, and our 15. So you can do SMS texting, calling, as well as like WhatsApp if you prefer that.
Like we mentioned a few times, it's got this beautiful full color partner facing screen, and it's super cute with our emojis that Andrew's going to try to show you now. You can kind of see it. Yeah, it's hard to see from afar, but we'll show you if you come to our booth. It also has the toughened glass screen. So it's an anti-glare screen made with toughened industrial grade glass, which has been optically bonded to the display panel, which protects it against impacts and scratches and things like that. So it's really tough. You can kind of toss it around. It's not a challenge, but you can give it a go.
We've all seen a user.
Chuck it across the room.
You've seen some things.
Exactly. It also has, it's antimicrobial coating. Is a silver additive that's added to the plastic and rubber parts when they're molded, and then it's a coating on the glass parts after it's built. Yeah.
So I would say that the 10S is definitely the most versatile for positioning in the GridPad range because you do have a few options of how you want it placed. So based on the user's access needs, you could lay it, and I say this in quotes, flat, because it is sitting at an angle, so a user could access it more sloped. You also do have this handy dandy little easel stand in the back, so if a user needed to reach a little bit more vertically and they didn't have a mount available, it's a good option. But then on the back, there is, and it comes with it standard, a dual mounting plate for Readapt and Daisy. So you can use this on a table mount, a floor mount, a wheelchair mount, and be able to take it on the go. And then in addition, it has this lovely wider handle, so much better for different grips and just being able to take it quickly. And then down here at the bottom, little sections where you can put in the strap, so you could wear it crossbody or hip tuck or in front as well. So it has a lot of options. It's pretty versatile for different users of different access needs.
I think we've done a pretty good job of kind of showing off the parts, but this gives kind of a close-up of some of the ways that we made it really water resistant. It's got the ports sealed with rubber covers. You can kind of see on the back that close up the switch ports and the USB ports and everything like that. All of the edges are sealed over with like the rubber, what do they call it, rubber gaskets. Same with the power buttons. And then the displays are sealed with adhesive gaskets as well. And then the speakers are waterproof, and so is the power port. So it gives you a good amount of protection against dampness.
Yeah, and you know, I like this too because this one's made of magnesium alloy, so it's really, really tough. And because it's made of magnesium alloy, it's able to have tolerate heat a lot more, so we didn't have to put a fan in there. So it's a little bit more, like Amanda said, it's a little bit more sealed for dust particles, water splashes, things that happen in everyday life.
Protected. All right. Okay, so the 10S. Now we'll move on to the Ability Drive with Grid. So Ability Drive is an alternative wheelchair driving control system, right? It combines proprietary software from Tolt Technologies and then a modified tablet computer and eye tracking camera to create a virtual joystick, which is kind of the easiest way we found to kind of describe it to people. And how does it work is usually the question that we get. So it uses the device's front-facing camera, so you can see what's going on behind you, like in front and behind the device. And then it uses an overlay with the directional arrows that you can see up here that the user looks at to tell the chair where to go. It's got a bunch of safety features built in. You of course have the stop button in the middle there, but then as soon as you look away from like the forward button or any of the directional buttons, it stops automatically moving in that direction, whether that's deliberate or unintentional. So you've got that kind of built-in stopping.
And I drove it today, so I'm very glad that that exists.
Oh gosh. Okay, yeah. And then the question we always get.
Yeah. How do you get Ability Drive? So you have to make sure that the device itself is compatible with Ability Drive, but then you're also taking into account the wheelchair for the user and the manufacturer. So you want to ensure first, A, is the wheelchair compatible, because I would say that's the first step. It's a great resource to go to Tolt Technologies website. They're keeping it probably more up to date. And at the bottom, they do have a nice list of all of the wheelchair manufacturers that offer the Ability Drive. And then the secondary is making sure that the eye gaze camera that you are trialing or that you are funding with that user's device is compatible with Ability Drive. So right now, our Lumin-i camera is what you're going to be seeing today, and that is our camera that is compatible with it. So if you have any questions or want to know a little bit more if that wheelchair is compatible, reach out to, an SLP, OT, if you have a wheelchair or DME team or an ATP to kind of get started and figure that out. All right, guys, we're going to do a little live demo. Our good coworker, Doug, he learned how to drive this chair today, so you're going to see it in real time how easy it is and how user-friendly it is for everybody to be able to do it. So we're going to give Doug some motivation, and we're going to give him a little bit of theme music.
Here he comes. He's coming from the back here. Yay, Doug. Look at that control. First time today.
Nice job, Doug. Very excellent. If you would like to come up, we do have a few more minutes, so if you'd like to come up and take a look at the interface, feel free to do so. If you don't want to, you can always see Tolt Technologies has a nice little group of chairs there that you can try out at booth 320. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Sorry, I should have started that with that. If you do, feel free. If you don't want to ask now, we will be in our Smartbox booth after as well. So thank you, everyone.